My name is Francisco Nunes, and this is our presentation on how to foster the wellness of older adults while performing usability tests. The backdrop of this paper can be found in ICALIX, an European project that aims to improve the treatment of older adults with chronic conditions. The ICALIX system is based on the TV through which older adults can manage their health. While designing the TV system, we pursued a number of usability tests to evaluate our designs and to gather information for future developments. When preparing the usability tests, we thought that it would be interesting to understand the effects that usability tests would have in the older adult. Especially, we wanted to assess if the tests were being too boring or too tiring. For this reason, we asked the older adults to evaluate their happiness and fatigue at the beginning and at the end of the test. What we did not know at the time was that the effect on the participants could be positive, that the participants could be happier and less tired after the usability test. On average, happiness improved one level from the beginning to the end of the test. The fatigue also improved one level. Although these changes were not very significant, results made us think on why this had happened. Certainly, the results were a sign that we were doing something right. Our gut feeling told us that it had to do with the environment we tried to create that always encouraged opinions and emotion sharing. But how have we created this type of environment during the tests? We always thought the most important thing was to be able to listen and to remember that we are interacting with a human being that has feelings and may be going through a tough moment of his life. It may not be the case, but with the loss of friends and loved ones, the older adult can be left with no one to share his feelings. As humans, we are social beings that need to express opinions and emotions. Specifically for these usability tests, we used a number of guidelines organized in three main categories: usage drive and control, test setting and preparation, and care, communication and listening. For instance, in these guidelines we can find one that is, let them know the plan beforehand. Retirement requires the individual to adapt to a routine with much more free time. To give a meaning to the new routine, the person will try to fill time with as much activities as possible. If the participants were warned on very short notice, it was common to hear, "Today I plan to do," or "maybe tomorrow." So, if we want older adults to include disability tests in their schedule, we should let them know about this intention of ours. By remembering the participants some days before, they could organize themselves to include usability tests on their schedule. In our case, social educators did that for us. Another guideline would be to participate in their activities. If the facilitator of the test participates in the activities of the center, like playing cards, older adults will have the opportunity to get to know the facilitator better and to ask questions like, "How did I go in the test? Who is going to use it? Do you like the results?" Will help the facilitator to give context and to explain his work. This will also allow them to understand the usefulness of your project and to decide to participate. Our experience in the daycare center showed us the individual is likely to participate in the tests if he thinks the project is useful and has the time. Listen to the participants' historical narratives. Hearing unrelated stories became common in the usability tests. Although these moments did not contribute to the test itself, they are important to the participant. For example, one lady of the daycare center once told us, "I don't want to participate today. I am not feeling very good." I asked, "Is it everything all right?" She said, "No." "But what happened?" I asked. At this point she told me about the accident she had had in the morning and how she was scared and physically hurt because of it. After telling this story, she immediately asked, "Can I do the test now?" This is an example of a situation in which the participant needed to express himself and to take something out of her chest. By letting her express her feelings, she felt better and then decided to participate. Our last example of a guideline is to talk to privileged informers. Privileged informers are individuals that, due to their profession, role, or current situation, have developed a deep understanding of a certain audience. Doctors and social educators are examples of this type of privileged informers, and talking with them can help clarifying doubts and understanding new points of view. By talking with the social educators of the daycare center, we gathered information about the elders so that the tests were as related as possible to the participants' reality. Now for our conclusions. Our first conclusion is that it is possible to foster the wellness that, in our case, a sense of increased happiness and decreased tiredness of older adults by doing usability tests. Although the results that motivate this assumption were not scientifically validated, we feel that they can trigger future work in this area. We also feel that we need a more humane approach that not only focuses on the best technique for a certain scenario, but also on how the participant will understand the test seems to be the right path. Thank you for your attention.